that activity A and B is starting from 0 point. He doesn't have any activities that he's going to consider before he's going to start. Am I sure? Do you understand it like that? Do you understand? If you don't understand, let me go over again. Look at it. Activity A and B doesn't have a preceding activity. You know the meaning of preceding activity? An activity that has to be done before another activity is done. Precede. Am I making sense? I don't like a class that is quiet when I'm talking and you are not shaking your head. So we have activity A and B that it has no preceding activity, meaning that there's no activity that we have to do before activity A and B. So if we say we are starting, we can put our starting point here. Let's say start here, right? And we have activity A and B, which doesn't precede any activity. This is a non-preceding activity. This is an activity that doesn't have any. Started from a starting point on its own. And so we can draw A like this. We can tag this as A. Are you getting it? We have B. B can go like this. We can tag this as B. Meaning that activity A and B is taken off from a 0 point. Are we making sense?
Yes.
Same thing you're going to do for your plan. Now, we have activity C. This is AB. Possibly we can put our activity C because activity C is preceded by A and B. A and B. Meaning that A and B has to be completed before we can do activity C. Right. Now, activity C will be taken off from A and B. Let's say this is A and B. Your C will be somewhere here. Because it says activity C is preceded by A and B, meaning that A and B has to be completed before we can do activity C. If you don't get it, let me know so that we can go over. Now, we get to activity D. Activity D, you can see it on the board. Activity D says is preceded by C and B. This is C, this is B, right? Draw our arrow like this. Maybe we can make it curve like this, up. Then we draw our C to here. That is going to be our activity D. Now, if you go on the, watch it on the board, say activity E is preceded by C and D. C and D. This is C. This is D. You can draw your C like this, and you can draw your D to it like this. Activity what?
E.
E. Now, we have activity F is preceded by E. Our F can just go like this. Right. Then we have activity G is preceded by F. Activity G can be here. G, because it's preceded by F, right? Then we have activity H. That is where we have challenge. Because it says, on the board there, it says activity H is preceded by G and H. As far as I'm concerned, it is better for us to say activity H is preceded by G. We throw away H. Why? Because an activity cannot precede itself. So I'm going to change that to activity G only. Are we making sense? Yes. So we can say activity G is preceded by H, right? So this is a representation of what we have on the board there. And this is an easy way of drawing up a critical path. These are paths telling you especially those of you that are going to do events, those of you that are going to use CPM, you need to understand this. Because these activities, these two activities, if it is not completed, you cannot start C. The next we are going to do is going to be, we are going to assign days to it. And we're going to work from early start to early finish. We're going to work backward from late finish to late start. That will give you a graphical representation of float time and critical time. Am I making sense? Yes. I want us to understand this from the perspective of ordinary sketching out a critical part. I remember last week when we were talking about this, some people queried because it was only the graph that was shown. I hope you get it now. It's easy. You just have to draw it up yourself. And this is going to be feasible in your plan. Are we okay? Yes. Thank you. Now, we go to the next exercise now. This is an exercise that you're supposed to do on your own, but it's better for us to practicalize it together so that when you are running it on your own, it's going to be easy. Of course, when you want to do it on your own, you are going to be the one that will create the time and the sequence and the preceding activity. A good example is that you want to build a house. You should know what to do before you do the next activity, before you do the next activity. Now we're going to use this to work on the next activity. Now this is where I want us to come to now. I'm going to wipe this off now. There's no much technicality involved in this, but the next one we want to do may have some technicality. We're going to work on forward pass rule, which are going to use early start plus duration equals early finish. And I'm going to write down here, we work backward pass, which is going to be late finish minus duration equals late start. Right. And we're going to use this. We're going to work on this, to use this, to work it out. I think I have a copy here. You can read this on your own, please. I don't have time to go through it. All this on your own, but we are going to work it out now. So you know the practicality involved in it. Now, you can see it on the board. These are expectations here. These are the activities. These are preceding activities. Preceding simply means what you need to do before you can do something else. Now, these are the duration. We will work out this on the board. You will see it. But these three items are very important when you are doing your critical part. When you're doing your plan yourself, you are going to be the one to design this out. If you don't have these three, you cannot actualize your critical part based on the method you want to use, if it's going to be traditional. And I think even if you are not using traditional, either you are using Scrum, Agile, whatsoever, you must be able to identify activities you want to do, and days should be assigned for it. Now, we have A, and it says A is preceded by nothing. So if A is preceded by nothing, so we're going to start from 0. The last time we start from start, but now we start from 0 because A is preceded by nothing. We just start A from A, is starting from. So A is the beginning of the activities, which is A is here. I don't want to draw so big this time around. This is A, right? A is preceded by nothing, that's why we're starting here. The last time we draw, we put a start. Even if you don't put a start, you put a 0, you are starting from nowhere. So we're starting from A. A is starting from nowhere is the first activity. It doesn't have any activity. But we are going to B now. And B, remember, A has time duration. The last one we work on, there's no duration. It's just a sketch. This time around, we have duration, days allocated to it. Now, A has 3 days. Don't forget, put your 3 days here. It has 3 days, meaning that A activities must be completed under 3 days. Now, it's not preceded by anything. That's why it's the starting point. Then we have B. B is preceded by A, meaning that before you can do B, you must have completed activities on A. So let's say our B will take off from here, something like this, right? You put B here. How many days is B activity?
5.
5 days. You put, don't forget the formula here. Early start plus duration. Every boxes you have, you must indicate the duration. So when you run in your plan, you must ensure that your plan is drawn up, your schedule of activities is drawn up based on days and preceding activities. So we have 5 days. Now we go to C. C is preceded by A, right? This is our A. It will take off from, C will take off from A2, just like B. So we can draw it here. How many days?
7.
Are we sure? 7, yes. 7 days.
C.
And we can put C here, thank you. Now, we have D. D is preceded by B and C, meaning that before D will come out and say, I want to work, B and C must have completed, right? So we have B and C and we are looking for D. So we can do it like this. My drawing may not be accurate, but at least you get the idea. So we label this as, am I right? This. How many days?
3 days.
Thank you. Don't forget to put your 3 days. Now, after that, we have activity E. Activity E we can't start it until B is completed, meaning that activity E is dependent on activity B. Are we sure? Are we getting it?
Yes. Yep.
So, where's activity B? This is B. So, we might possibly need to draw B here and get our E. E, how many days?
5.
5. You put your 5, don't forget. Because without this duration, you can't work out anything.
So E and D could be done simultaneously by different people of the team?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. You can assign. That's why if you have a work breakdown structure, you can do that to assign responsibility to people.
And what happens if I kind of forget one of these steps and then I'm in the middle of the project and I found out that there was one step that should be there and it's not?
If you are under traditional, then your project is downfall. If you are under traditional method, then already you know that your project will collapse. And I don't think if you have sequence, you have activities, you have allocated days, and you have preceding activities, as a good project manager, you shouldn't forget. Remember, you have a Gantt chart. Remember, you have some other tools that can remind you of the activity. Remember, when you are drawing this up, we're drawing based on the activity. Did you see? So if my activity is physical here and I forget to draw it here, then something is wrong with my eyes.
No, but I mean, even if I'm doing the project and there is one step of the project that I'm not aware of, like let's say building a house.
Yes.
I think that building a house involves 10 steps.
Yes.
But then when I'm on the 5th step, I find out that there was an extra step somewhere in between that I didn't know of.
You cannot be a project manager.
What? You want to say something? Yes? No, let's contribute. It's a question. Let's just contribute. Would that be feasible?
So yeah, that's what agile.
I don't want to come into agile yet.
Yeah.
But let's put it into practice.
But then it depends on the type of project as well. In case it's a house, if you forget the floor, obviously you won't be able to proceed. But if
Thank
it's
you.
something else, you can.
Thank you.
It's the
If,
responsibility of
So obviously
the manager.
and that's why we need a project manager, number one. That's why you are a project manager. If you see a project manager, you must have 2 heads, 3 heads, everything must be thinking every time. Because you miss a step, you lose the focus. And that's why you have to decide on the type of methodology you want to use that can really guide you. Should in case it's not deliberate, even if it is deliberate, should in case it's based on call, all of a sudden, because I don't believe you can forget. Right? But if it is based on call, and you are under a sequential methodology, and you can't go back because it's waterfall, that's why possibly you have to look at possibility of accommodating yourself with another flexible method that can enhance you to go back when you want to go back. You understand? But to say practically you can forget, it's not going to be easy because you have a lot of blueprints as a project manager that guides you. That every day you wake up, even when you are sleeping, you're dreaming, you know what you are doing.
So the methodology itself helps me to know the steps I have to do.
That's why we start from you, identifying minimum of 3 methodology and seeing which 1 or 2 or even 3 that can help you should in case you have the tendency to forget. You understand? Because it's possible, anything can happen, right? But at least you know yourself better and you know your responsibility. Project manager, that's why you are well paid. It's a task that you cannot just play with. Because you have people that are depending on you, you have stakeholders that can make a change, you have customers that can just bank on you that, you know, this phone is not working, we want another one, they throw it at you. You remember Samsung that I gave an example here? Samsung what? There was a Samsung that was returned there. Samsung Note. You see? If Samsung is on waterfall and everything was dumped back to them, you know, remember under 2 months or 1 month, it was, you know, they republished and everything came back. Right? Where are we? We're on E.
E5.
D is done. So we now say F is dependent on D. Where is D? This is D. And F is dependent on D. So we can draw it like this. F, how many days?
4.
No, so F, sorry. How many days?
4.
4 days. We have 4 days. Now after F, what do we have?
G.
G. G is dependent on C. Where is C? This is C. We have G somewhere here. How many days?
2.
Then we say, am I sure?
Yes,
right.
yes, you're right.
Then we say H is dependent on E, G, F. This is right?
Yes.
Right? Right. This is
H.
5.
H. Thank you.
5
How many
days.
days?
5.
5 days. This is step 1. All done. This is going to be your baby to carve out when you have your own plan. You want to rent a hall. Hall should be for 1 day. If your event is for 1 day, isn't it? So you have to identify it. Now, we finish all this. What do we need to do now? We need to work forward now. We need to calculate forward now to see if we start on this day, we'll be able to complete it on the expected number of days. So what do you need to do? Take into consideration this formula. We're working forward, which is LA start start from here. You have the duration and you have the LA finish. What do you consider about? First, you look at this. This is starting on LA start of this time. What will it be?
0.
0. Duration. How many days?
3.
So when are we going to LA finish will be what?
3.
Why do we get 3?
0 plus 3.
And we call. Call. You are far away. How do we get 3 here? Score. How do we get 3 here? It's better you be part of us in the class. Even when you want to work it on your own, even when you know it, you gain a knowledge. When we're discussing, you're on your computer is not going to teach you. Because LA start here is 0, and the duration is 3, LA finish will be 3. 0 plus 3. Now we're going to this. LA start here is what? Why is it 3?
B is dependent on A.
Because that's just what I want to hear. Because B cannot start until when activity A is completed. And activity A will be completed under 3 days. So for activity B to start, it will take into consideration the timing of activity A. So we can put LA start here, we can put 3 days. LA finish here. How many days will it be?
8.
8 days, because why?
Duration is 5 days.
Of B is 5 days.
What?
Duration of plan B is 5 days.
Duration of, say it.
Subject B.
Subject B is 5 days, right? And subject B cannot start until when A is completed. Subject B has to wait to take off by 3 days, and it has its own 5 days to complete. So its LA finish will be 8 days, 3 plus 5. I'm hungry. Then we go to C. What is the LA start time
3.
for C? What's the LA start time here?
3.
Why is it 3?
Because it's not.
I say, why is it 3? It's 3 like this. I should check it myself, right? Okay, thank you. It's 3 because C cannot start until when activity A is completed. And activity A will take 3 days. So we put our 3 here. And LA finish of this day will be what? Of this activity
10.
C will be what?
10.
Why?
3 plus 7.
3 plus 7. Because it has its own duration for 7 days, and it has to wait for the 3 days of activity A. So it makes it 10. Right. Now that is C. We go to D. Now D may be a bit complex, a bit. Now, when it is LA start for D?
10.
Somebody said 3.
10.
10.
Why is it 10?
Because the early finish for C is greater than B, and therefore we'll consider C, which is 10.
Yes. That's another way to explain it. But because activity A and activity B and C must be completed before activity D will be started, right? And even if this finishes on day 8, as long as this has not finished, this cannot start. So invariably, we pick on the highest number of days between the 2 activities, which is 10, right? Which is the same thing you said. So we put our 10 here. LA finish here will be how many days?
13.
Because it has to wait for 10 days. It has to start after 10 days of activity B and C, and it has to add its own number of days to run the activities, making it 13. That's D. We go to E. Activity E is dependent on activity B straight, isn't it? So how many, when will it start? LA start here will be how many days?
8.
It's 8 days because this activity B must be completed 8 days before this will start.
Let's start
So
with 12.
this will finish on,
13.
that's activity E. Then we got A, B, E, F. F now, F, LA start will be how many days?
13.
LA finish will be what?
17.
Now we go to activity G. Activity G is dependent on activity C. Activity C here is a loan, it has a loan relationship with G, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember, they have 2 relationships, B and C to D, but only C has a relationship with G. So we say C has a 10 days to complete to bring it here. B has 2 days for itself, it becomes 12 days. Then we have activity F, no, activity H, right? Activity H is dependent on 3 activities, E, F, G. So what are we going to consider there?
17.
Because even this is completed on 17 days, this cannot start. If this is completed on 13 days, this cannot start. If this is completed on 12 days, this cannot start, because these 3 activities must be completed before this will be started. We take off. So we make our 17 here as LA start, and we add 17 plus 5 plus 17, we make it 22 as LA finished. This is, we're moving forward to calculate from the beginning to the end, meaning that these all activities will be completed in 22 days. Are we right?
Yes.
We want to work backward now. When you are working backward, look at the formula. It says late finish.
Yeah, let's start it now.
Late finish minus duration equals to late start. If you read more in your module, you will see, once you are working on late finish, just drop down the LA finish down to represent your late finish. Remember, LA finish is 22.
Yeah.
We start our work from late now, which is late finish here. We just drop it down here to 22. Remember, the formula says minus duration. What is the duration here?
5 days.
5.
Minus 22, we have 17.
Same thing.
Same thing, yes, it's the same thing, but we're working towards something. You will know now what we're working through now.
Yeah.
Now, this is your late start now. You're definitely going to transfer this now, right, to wherever you're working now. Whatever you get as your late start will be your late finish for your next activity.
For E to
For he, we have 17 here, so
we can shift.
we bring the 17 down here, right? You say 17 minus 4.
Same.
It gives you what?
13.
13. So because we are moving backward, now this is, we're moving from here to here. This is 17. This is transferring 17.
So we can start 15, yeah? We can start G 15.
G, where's G?
In downstairs.
Down, down.
Is down.
Okay,
Yeah,
this is going to be
At the
7.
bottom.
17. No, it's not going to be
Yeah,
17.
yeah, you're right.
Yes.
No, we're trying. What?
17.
Okay, 17.
And late start is 15.
Okay, this is 15, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, we're working on this. So this and this has a relationship, right? And we have 13 days here, right? Because it has direct relationship with this. Remember?
Yeah.
E is also linked to H. E is also dependent on H. So
No, I'm talking about G to F.
But we need to finish E first.
We need to go to E as well, right?
We're still going, okay, we go to A, B, C, D, E, F.
G, H.
E is at the top
H
and
is
it's
from
dependent on H too. E, F and G. We have done F and
Yes,
G.
yes. So here, this is 17, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bring our 17 here.
12.
And that will be 12 now.
That will be 12 now.
Yes, I'm just working. I'm not following the sequence of the alphabet. Now, here, this is, remember we have 12 here, right? Right?
Yeah.
And this is dependent on this, right? So we bring 13 here,
Duration. 10.
minus this,
10.
10,
Sorry.
Yeah, same.
right? Now here, this and this are almost the same thing. We have 10 here, we bring our 10 here, right?
Yes.
Minus 7,
Three.
we have 3, right? Here is the same thing as 10, right?
Yeah.
What about B?
What?
What about B?
Where's B?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just
we're going
started.
there.
And that's what we're working on now.
So, yeah. I just don't understand. So we have 12 and 10, yeah?
No.
We have two options.
Okay, we have 2 options.
Of
This is
late
10.
finish.
No, this is B.
So we
B,
can.
wait.
Okay.
B and he, this is as relationship. But we have B and
It should be 10, yeah?
it should be 10 because possibly we look at the least figure.
Yeah,
Because we are working back.
we cannot put 12 because it's shift
Ten.
also product.
10 minus this,
5.
5. Then here, No, it's not 5.
Yeah, it's 5.
Yeah, 5.
It will be 5 because it's like yeah. Yeah, it could be 5. Correct.
It will be 3.
No.
It should be 3, not 5.
Late start. No, it's late start. Late start.
Let's start is 5.
Late start is 5.
Let's start is 5, right?
Yes.
Yes. Then let's start will be 5 here, right?
Yes.
Why?
No.
Like you have to take the least figure
You're
because
taking
it's
the
coming
less.
from C and B both.
I'm taking the less, right?
3.
3.
We have to take 3.
3.
We're taking 3 because between this and this,
Comes
we're
from
looking at
C
the
and
least.
C.
When you're coming back, you're looking at the least figure.
Okay.
No,
So
that
it's
is
the
correct.
least figure. It's coming from B and C both.
What?
It's coming from B and C both.
This and
the
this
least one.
link to B and C.
Yeah.
And this is having 5, this
No,
is
no.
having 3.
No.
So we'll take 3.
We're looking at-
A should be 3, yes.
Look at it like this. When we are going forward,
But B could
we're
be 5.
looking at LA start, LA finish. When we are coming back, we are looking at late finish and late start. So definitely, if we pick 5 here, we're not following what we're looking for. These two activities, this and this has 5, this has 3.
Yeah.
So if you are coming back here, we can't pick 5 because we're looking at late start,
Let's start.
not early finish.
Finish.
If you are looking at early finish, we pick at the big figure because we are looking at late start, meaning that you are not starting at the appropriate time. So that's why we're going to choose 3 here and transfer 3 here. Why we are picking 1, excuse me, why we are picking the list is that these two activities has a direct link with this. We are not walking forward, we are walking backward. So if we are walking backward, we cannot pick the highest figure out of the two activities that have a relationship with the starting dates. So we pick the least figure. If you read more on your bundle, you will see it there. So we move our 3 here, down here, and we say 3 minus 3, right?
Yes.
What are we going to have?
0. Starting point.
So meaning that even if we walk backward from 22, we're still going to be okay to our starting date of 0. Even if this starting date says is 1, we won't walk back and arrive at 1. Now, we've not finished everything we want to do. For us to understand, to see the critical part now, we have to make deductions from early start and late finish. Now, if you look at this, what is it? 0 minus 0, 0. 5 minus 3, 2. 3 minus 3, 0. 10 minus 10, 0. Here we should have 4, right?
Yeah.
Here we should have 3.
5.
Oh, sorry, 5. Here we should have 0. Here we should have 0.